Hey, what's going on? It's Doug Cunnington here. This is the live stream for July 14th. It's sort of the Doug show, I think, live. And I'm just going to hang out with you for about an hour today. We're going to talk about non Amazon affiliate programs. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay. I think you can. I probably should be able to hear myself in a quick moment here. And then I could take these headphones off. I'll answer some questions later too, but it's sort of action packed. So there's some stuff that I do need to cover today, and we're going to kind of stick to that. But as questions come up, you can just write them in the chat. I'll field them as I am able to, of course. And if I don't get to your question right away, don't worry. I should be able to see it. I'll come back to it when I hit a stopping point. So let me know where you're from. Let me know if it's the first time that you've tuned in for one of the live streams. And that is awesome if you are able to. It's always fun to have new folks on. So say hello. We have kind people moderating in the chat like David. David tells me everything sounds good. Thanks. And he's one of the moderators. So shout out to David. Really appreciate it. Okay, cool. So I'm going to sort of jump into the material pretty quick here, and I'll let you know, number one, I phrase this as like non-Amazon affiliate programs, because there is a little bit of I guess like a fear. People are a little bit scared about working with Amazon, I guess. Amazon has changed the commission rates in the US and other geographies multiple times. The most significant were in 2017 in around March, and then in April of 2020. In both cases, your commission rate, your effective commission rate paid from Amazon went down. It decreased by something like 25 to 50%. A lot of factors are involved, and most of it came down to whether or not you are, or the categories that you were like earning from. So if you were earning from certain categories that paid out a high amount, then maybe you lost a lot. But other people, maybe they earned from many different sources, so it wasn't as big of an impact. All that to say, Amazon does pay a lower commission rate than a lot of other people. Now, not people, but other affiliate programs. The trade-off that I think a lot of especially beginners, but some people, they think, hey, I don't want to work with Amazon at all. I think you're making a mistake, and here's why. Basically, the volume of sales through Amazon is staggering, and I don't have to explain or expand on that. Just people order a lot of shit from Amazon. It's very easy to order from Amazon. I don't have my phone next to me here, but if I did, I could just order something in about 3 clicks or so. And that's how it is for a lot of people. You could just quickly order something on Amazon, and depending on where you live, you may be able to get it the next day, even if you order at like midnight. That happened to me about a week ago. I ordered something late and I got it the next day before the close of business, which I didn't have any like speed or I didn't have any like urgent delivery or anything like that. So anyway, people order a lot of stuff from Amazon, and the fact is, even if you don't want to have Amazon as your primary monetization strategy, you should probably still have an Amazon account and let people order from Amazon if they want to. Even if the commission rate is 3% for your sort of primary category of things that you might review on your site, versus even 18% if you can work directly with a company. Even if the cookie time frame is 24 hours for Amazon, and for the individual company, maybe it's 30 or 60 days. But there's a lot more friction to order from that company directly than from Amazon. So that's the thing. Now, there's some industries where, sure, you may end up in a situation where that's that's the only place you could order it. It's not on Amazon. You can only order it from other third-party places or the specific company directly. And that's cool. Of course, I mean, you're not going to have as much friction then. People know they can't get it from Amazon, so they'll order from the other sources. So anyway, that's the quick sort of me defending Amazon and just saying, hey, even if you don't want to have them as a primary partner or your primary monetization, you probably should still work with them in some capacity. It's probably the easiest monetization that you can just sign up for, get access to. There's tons of products, and if you have a brand new site, it's a great way to do it. So we will talk about some of my favorite other affiliate programs and ways to find other affiliate programs that do have those favorable terms, longer cookie time frames. Is that what we call it? Cookie lifetimes? I don't know. Anyway, the cookies, instead of 24 hours, you may get, 7 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, lifetime cookies for certain programs. I don't have any off the top of my head, but they do exist. The point is, there's a lot of options. We're going to talk about those. I'm going to jump back to the chat and give some people some shout outs. We have Hassan, what's going on from Pakistan, Afnan, usual. Good to have you back on. Boozing Abroad, first time you're a full-time RVer in Seattle. Awesome. Oh, and Kyle, the Haro link building guy. So Kyle emailed me a while back, and if you're a long time viewer, you probably heard Kyle's not interview, but he sent me a lot of information, which I based a whole episode on. Tiff is here, and Savu, what's going on, and Dan. So thanks everybody for hopping on. So the punchline here is there's other affiliate programs, and I'm going to plug, something I'll hold on a second, because I actually pulled up the commission rates from Amazon just to illustrate like why people, would want to check out other earning sources. So let me figure out how to zoom in on this stuff here. But we should be able to zoom in a little bit. There we go. So you're looking at anywhere from, sorry folks, you're looking at anywhere from 0% for gift cards, because that would be an easy way to cheat the system, up to 10% for those luxury beauty items and Amazon coins. Some of the other higher commission rates are, let's see, I mean, you're talking about 5%. So you have digital music, handmade stuff, digital videos, physical books, kitchen, automotive. So that's a pretty good one. Both have lots of products, kitchen and automotive. And the 4% is sort of the bulk of products here. And then 3% rounding out the other, I would say 60% of the categories are probably in that 3 to 4.5% range, just looking at the categories, not the sheer number of products or anything like that. And then all the other categories, right, they lump it all together here at the 4%. So, what I've seen over the last year or so is the effective rate is something like, 3.5 to 4.5%. And I've heard from a lot of students of mine, readers, other folks. So it depends on what you're selling. It may be as low as like 2.5% if you're selling a lot of lower tiered categories. Now, the other thing I'll throw in, I am talking a lot about Amazon early on, but don't worry, I'll move on. The other thing is Amazon has international stores, and some of those affiliate programs are paying what they used to pay in the US. So if you go check out some of the newer programs where they're trying to get affiliates to adopt the Amazon associate program, they're paying a lot higher, which makes sense. It's a supply and demand situation. And in the US, I can't remember, but I feel like Amazon Associates in the US is something like 20 years old. So it's a pretty mature e-commerce affiliate model and program. And a lot of people have talked about it for many, many years. So it has a high adoption rate. All right. So the other thing I'll talk about, and I'll sort of jump ahead as sort of a example of earning from multiple income sources, is my student over. Well, I'm gonna share my screen here. So this is my blog niche site project. If you haven't signed up to the email list, you can hop over here. And this post was written by Christy, who I've interviewed on the channel several times. In fact, I interviewed her the first time in, I think, January of 2018, if I remember right, 2018 or 2019, I can't remember. But that's when she hit $100 for the first time. She had a goal this year to double her revenue in the calendar year of 2021. She's already done that. So a little spoiler alert, but the thing is, you can go and check out this post and read and see what's been going on. She's documented everything really from the beginning, but we hit a great milestone. Christy did specifically. So she had 7,300 in June. So the site is worth somewhere between like 200, it's around 300,000, which is amazing. And the thing I need to show you here, if we scroll down, you can see her earnings. They were good for a while, and then they started growing more and more. There's dips and dives here and there, but the amazing thing is on this graph, you'll see these two main lines up here. And one of them is purple. It's actually a little bit hard to see. It's a little bit dark. There's not enough contrast there. The point is, she's earning about 50% of her revenue from Amazon, and then the other half from Mediavine. She has other income sources down here, and they're smaller amounts. They're hopefully going to grow. We want to diversify the revenue streams to hedge any changes and just have more diversity. So if any one income stream is impacted, it's a smaller issue just in general. But she's earning from these multiple sources, and that is what I recommend just in general. We're not talking about eliminating Amazon. We're just looking at other options. And hopping over to the chat really quickly. Kyle says, I'm choosing between making 20% of no sales through other affiliate programs or making pennies on Amazon promoting the same product. So, yep. And that's the rub here, right? So you may have let's say you earn 50%, but the volume is so low. You have to look at the real conversion rates. You have to look at the real amounts that you're earning and figure out, testing is really the best thing to do. And GTFO says, did she create her own digital products to double the income? She created her own digital products, and that's an area that I'm really working with her on. However, she's hardly sold any of her own products. So she has digital guides noted on here, and those are $10 products at this point. She is building courses, but in an interview that will be published this coming Monday, we talk about the lack of sales and how she really needs to ramp that up and figure out how to market. So good question. She's done it through optimization, adding content, and just the things that we teach, right? So this is a good little plug. I'm going to have a quick pause. This week, I am launching my course. It's called Multi-Profit Site, which ties in perfectly with a topic for today. And it's about earning from multiple income sources, which Christy is a perfect example of that implementation working well over time. She's been growing her site for the last couple years. It's not overnight. We saw the growth there, but it's absolutely not only possible. She was a beginner, and if you go back and check out some of the interviews I did with her early on, you'll see she was green. She really didn't know anything about affiliate marketing. She was brand new, and I've interviewed her 5 times this year alone, and I think 4 or 5 times in the preceding year and a half or two. So you could track along once you had $100 in 1 month, $1,000, $2,500, $5,000, so on. And you can actually like hear the confidence change and basically like her grow her site and grow as a niche site owner and learning about SEO and content and all that stuff. So this is inside the course here. And you can check out, there's a link in the description here. It's open until Friday, but you can see we go through niche selection, keyword research, competition analysis, a whole work week to analyze all of that information. We'll go over setting up your site, creating the content, publishing it, monetizing, which goes into multiple income streams. The thing we're going to cover today is non-Amazon programs and other ways to earn. And then we have promotion, outreach, link building, which is a pretty huge unit, and then scaling up. There is an advanced version of this course where you get 4 additional units and a lot more information for really growing your site, thinking about scaling it and getting basically more traffic, earning more, selling it for over 6 figures, which as I mentioned, this specific site that I talked about with Christy, it's worth, roughly $300,000. And with the multiple income streams, that adds a little bit more, or I guess it reduces a bit of the risk. So anyway, check out Multi-Profit Site. It's my big flagship course, and it really takes you from beginning to end if you are trying to figure this stuff out. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to ask in the chat. So I did see a couple questions pop in before we start investigating some of the other revenue streams you might run across. And so Emmanuel asked which niche is she in. So generally, I encourage people, don't share your niche, don't share your site. There's a lot of copycats out there. So out of respect for Christy, we don't share her site. And then, is this selling the digital product to an email list? Well, it's not as simple as that, but she has tried to sell to her email list. She's tried some other things, including selling within her site on relevant posts and that sort of thing. I am encouraging her to really figure out how to sell it to her email list, because that will be, I think, the best way to build the relationship and market it in an effective way. Dan says, which is better, Ezoic or Mediavine? One's not better or worse in terms of earnings. You probably have to test for your specific site. So I've heard from people that said, I've used Mediavine and then I switched to Ezoic and it was better, and vice versa. So there's no way to really know. I've heard people say they've earned more on AdSense than either one of those. And it just depends on your niche and your site and several other factors. So you'll have to really just test on your own. Okay, so let's talk about these other affiliate programs. So I'm gonna divide it into a couple areas. So number one, let's assume you're focusing on like the product area, like the physical product area, and you're currently monetizing with Amazon. So one thing that I would recommend that you do is just pull the report from Amazon for all the products that you're selling. You will probably find that there are some products you sell a hell of a lot of. You may be selling several per day. So you can sort that, full CSV. You can analyze data over the last couple of years, depending on how much you have, and you can see what you're selling. And I would sort that by the quantity and understand what you're selling a lot of. So once you have that list, you have some pretty interesting proprietary data. You also have the pricing information and some other critical pieces in there. So you can imagine you may want to sort by the quantity and the price of the product. You can probably ignore the low quantity products that you're selling and the low price products. And it depends on, your specific niche. So I won't give a specific dollar amount, but you can assume that if it's a lot more expensive, there's more money to be made. Eventually we're going to talk about percentages and stuff like that for your commission rate, or you will be with the companies. So the higher the price, the more you can be paid, most likely. So with that said, you have this list, and you have a list of the manufacturers, right? You also have your Google Analytics data. So we're diving right into the tactical stuff, and you'll have to pull this information, but it's proprietary data for you. No one else has this, and you essentially have the number of products that you're selling on Amazon for a specific company, right? Hopefully you'll see you're selling several different products for, a few companies. And that's pretty common for really any niche, because if you're reviewing these various products, a lot of times there's different models, there's different levels, economic, really expensive. So there's sometimes a lot of different choices in there. And the one that I'll give, because I'm not creative, is cameras, right? So I'm staring into a mirrorless Canon EOS RP, and there's many different camera models in the Canon line, and there's a lot of different manufacturers for these kind of digital cameras, right? DSLRs, mirrorless, full frame. There's a lot of different manufacturers, and you have all these different models within the manufacturer's product line. So you might be able to approach Canon, and maybe they have a outward facing affiliate program, which you could maybe just go sign up for. But if they don't, you actually have the data right there. So you can contact their marketing department or sales department and say, I have a website. I have been selling X number of these cameras over the past year, and I would love to partner with you. I also know that I'm ranking well for these few posts that are relevant for these products. And you could check it out yourself. I'm ranking for, best vlogging camera, best full frame streaming camera. I'm ranking for all these terms. Here's how much traffic I've been getting over the past few months, and I'm selling all these products. Why don't we partner up? I would love to figure out an affiliate relationship. Sometimes a company will just have an outward facing affiliate program where almost anyone can sign up. And I'll show you a few places you could look for this stuff. If they don't have an outward facing affiliate program, that's okay. That's where you can come to them with the data and then show them that you can actually, potentially send traffic and that you have been making sales. They might have a program that's invite only, and once you show up and ask, they can send you the link and set you up with that specific affiliate program. If they don't have anything set up, that's not a deal breaker. You can still figure things out. You may be able to encourage them to use one of the affiliate management systems. There's many of them out there. You might be able to tell them, hey, go sign up for Share a Sale. They have the full technical suite, and it's a marketplace. So people and affiliates will come to you wanting to promote your products. It's a no-brainer, really. So, and then I'm trying to think if there was anything else. So if there's not an outward facing, you may be able to get them to set it up. You may be able to get them to sign up for one of the big marketplaces. Or, worst case, you might be able to set up like a discount code. Let's say it's an e-commerce shop and they're on Shopify, but you can set up like a coupon code that's specific to you. So in that way, you can track the sales and they'll know the buyer came from your audience because they're using your coupon code. Usually there's a discount associated with that. That's an encouragement to use your coupon code. And I have heard in some situations of like the coupon codes didn't work, or the company they had like an antiquated system and they they really couldn't use a coupon code for some reason, which seems crazy these days, but maybe they just didn't know how to do it. So in that case, I mean, you really could set things up where you send them traffic for a little while and they can see the traffic coming and they can understand the sales that are coming through, and you could turn it off. And that is the interesting part. Like if you have the traffic, you have leverage and you have a valuable audience that they want to attract. And another little trick here is if maybe you're not familiar with some of the different companies in your industry, you can Google some terms and see who's running ads. If they're running ads, they have a budget for ad spend already. So you potentially can approach them and say, hey, I have this traffic over here already, and I can send you some traffic. We can have the affiliate relationship. And this is slightly off topic, but I mean, you could actually sell them banner ads that you manage yourself, where you get a graphic from them, you put it on your website, and then it clicks through over to their site. The whole point is to have a program, you can sign up for it. If it's invite only and you make a contact with them and you show them that you have been selling the product, they're very likely to invite you. If there's no program, then you can figure something out. And worst case scenario, you can send them traffic and show them that you have valuable traffic. They'll understand that it's converting or not. And from there, you can tell them, hey, I'm turning off the traffic and I'm going to your competitor. Of course, you want to have a good working relationship, but that's sort of implied, I would say. So if they can't figure out how to implement a affiliate program, then you can go somewhere else. Every company has competitors. And Dan asked something about the threshold for traffic, and I think you're referring to Ezoic or Mediavine. I'm not sure for Mediavine. Ezoic now doesn't have a minimum threshold for traffic. You can follow my link in the description here to get to the Just Start program. And Afnan says, what marketplaces do I mean? Okay, so let me pull that up and I'll share my screen. So there's a lot of these out there. One of them is called Share a Sale. So let me pull that up. Share a Sale. And I will share my screen. So Share a Sale has, well, we see it right there, 16,000 merchants. So really, you can like just find companies that are probably in your niche and like promote their stuff. So pretty straightforward. Let's see. Merchant preview. I may have to log in here to get a list of what's going on. So we have powerful network. All right, let me get to the list of useful links. It's funny, if you're not logged in, you can't get to anything. All right, hold on, let me stop sharing for a second. So there's a lot of these out there. I think if you just start hunting around a little bit, you will find there's a lot of different affiliate programs. And I mean, if you're unsure, right, you can just, like, let's say you're looking for Target, you can just Google Target affiliate program and you may, find the page that they have, which they do have one. So let me go to find merchants. Where the heck is it? Obviously, I don't use this super often, so search for merchants, and then I'll start sharing my screen again. Okay, here we go. So we have Share a Sale here, and you can look in many different areas. So I talked about photography and cameras and such, so let's just look there initially. And the thing is, you'll be able to see all these, the different rates that are available and just how lucrative some of them can be. Now, one thing that I haven't mentioned yet, so this is the physical product area. What you really want, especially if you haven't found a niche yet, or if you have a niche site, you can still figure this out. So what you want to find is digital products. And these come in two main forms. It's either going to be courses or it's going to be software. So depending on the niche, there might be options for both, or there might be very few software products to use or to promote, but there might be a lot of different courses. So with that said, let's just kind of look through the photography area, and I'm going to hone in on the photography zone here. So we have KEH Camera, which is a camera store that specializes in selling used gear, and we can see they pay 4% per sale. The thing is, it's usually quite expensive. So, I mean, if they're cameras, they're going to usually be, multiple hundreds of dollars. So what is photography if we look back at Amazon over here? Or it might be in electronics or something like that. Photo. Let me see if I could just photo. No, maybe it's consumer electronic products is, well, that's trade-in. I don't want that. Okay. So it wasn't super obvious on this page where photography and photo items fit in. If anyone knows, feel free to throw it in the chat. Musical instruments, headphones, business, outdoor, PC, television, digital. Okay, so it might be 4%. If it's not listed, it might be 4%, which, appears to be the same as KEH. So not a huge benefit, but it's a different thing. So if I was buying used camera gear, I would buy from KEH versus Amazon, because KEH is, well, number one, it's a company I've ordered used camera gear like 20 years ago. Kind of crazy. All right, so we have a Canvas app, so 5% per sale. We have 10% per sale with this Juniper print shop here. $5 per sale. So depending on what you're selling, that may be a high percentage or not. We have a Color Story, which is 15% per sale. And this note here, the earnings per click, that's like the average for like a sale. And I think that's the right way to define it. As we scroll down, we're seeing 15%, 30 to 50% for this computer, electronics, music, art, photography. So you get the idea. It could be very much, here's a Creative Live. This is a course platform, and that's 30% per sale, which is pretty amazing. So I could go on and just keep reading these out, but you can see there's a lot of different options here, and a lot of them do pay more than Amazon. Some of them don't, right? Here's 3% per sale for this artwork from independent artists. So depending on many factors, it may be a lower or higher affiliate program. So as I alluded to, and as we saw, you have the ability to sell digital products, and those are maybe some of the best things to sell. You probably already know that usually a digital product is infinitely scalable. So if it's a course, you create the course one time and you could sell it again and again. There's perhaps support, customer support, student support. There might be some updates to do, but in general, when a creator puts together a course, they could sell it a lot. And once they've paid for the course hosting and the delivery, basically they could sell it as many times as they want, and it doesn't cost any more. So what that means is Creative Live, like we just saw, is able to pay 30%, which is actually a little bit low for courses. A lot of times those are going to be 50%. So when you think about that, you realize that, well, you may not sell as many, but it's a great way to diversify your income. And if you find one that works really well, that converts really well for your audience, you might be able to market it and promote it through your normal blog post, but you could also promote these to an email list. So I love building an email list. I think it's a great skill to have. It's fun to do. You learn copywriting, you learn sort of conversion points for building an email list, and you're able to sell to your email list. Now with Amazon and many other affiliate programs, the commission rates are far too low for that to be worthwhile. So I've tried it. And if you're not earning, I don't have a threshold to throw out, but if you're not earning a bigger payout, a bigger commission rate, then it's just not worth it to market to your email list. Now you got to test, some people are going to be in a niche where that's going to convert very well. But in general, if you're earning, 3.5%, 4%, it's not going to be worthwhile to have a full, email marketing campaign. Now you may be able to take that same email list and market a digital product. And because you're earning 40 or 50% of a commission per sale, it's really worthwhile. And I have done this in certain niches where there were digital products and courses. And it was those situations where you hear people talk about it, and it's been a few years since I've been consuming that sort of content, but they say, I sent out an email promoting this product and I made like $1,000 in 15 minutes. Like, it was a simple email. They had the email copy, and I've literally done that. And, eventually I stopped doing that. It wasn't products that I specifically believed in or a niche that I was interested in. So I stopped doing that, but you get the idea. Now, we've talked a little bit about the course aspect with the Creative Live, and we still have the software aspect to get into. Now, before I talk about that, I do need to thank Ezoic, and a couple people did ask about Ezoic. They are a sponsor of the live stream, but I speak freely just in general. They do have a new product called Leap, and that helps your site load faster. It helps you get green for the core web vitals, and it's not all custom, but there are certain things that it will help you do, and it actually reduces the need overall for other plugins and functionality. So if you have a caching plugin and maybe a CDN and some lazy load functionality that is maybe taken care of in one of those plugins that you're paying for those two tools annually, you can use Leap. It's actually a free product to use to get the green core web vitals if you're monetizing with Ezoic. So it's worth checking out. I've worked with Ezoic for a few years. They're great partners. So if you're interested in checking it out, they have removed the need for any like minimum traffic number. So you can sign up even if you have a brand new site. So check out the link in the description. I'm an affiliate, so I get a commission if you happen to sign up. And you can check out the details below. The other sponsor that I need to thank is ODYS. So I'm going to roll. I'm going to take a little break, let my voice rest here for a second. And we have a featured domain, kind of a cool one this week. Here's a word from our sponsor, ODYS. That is ODYS.global, and they are the source for age domains with strong branding and powerful backlinks. And we're going to take a look at a domain today. The featured domain for today is pokercoach.us. And this is a pretty interesting site here. The stats come in at, a domain rating of 27, domain authority of 25 or so. And the site was created 17 years ago in 2004. And Poker Coach is a domain of a renowned poker coach named Bob. I think it's Chiafone. I'm not sure. I'm going to give it an Italian pronunciation and mangle it, but basically his nickname was the coach, and this site was his personal website for sharing tips and tricks, beginner, advanced strategies, and he promoted his book and maybe some other things as well. And I actually took a look over on the Wayback Machine, some of the early screenshots or captures of this website from something like 2006 or so. And well, it looks like a site from 2006. There's like a little animated graphics that looks, I mean, it looks kind of silly when I'm viewing it right now, but the rest of the site is just like straight up HTML, and it really does look like a site from 2006. Now, as time went on, of course, they updated it. But the cool thing here, a couple areas. Number one, you can get a site that actually has relevant poker backlinks. And I know that gambling and poker, that's one of the hardest places, one of the hardest kinds of websites to get links to it. So number one, I mean, this is kind of a rare commodity, and it's priced as such. It has some pretty amazing backlinks, very highly relevant from poker related websites, and there's a couple EDU links and a few other just big hitter kind of sites. So it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you're in the poker niche. For example, if you're not specifically in the poker niche, I think it could still be a valuable website. There's a lot of things you could do, and I think from an informational standpoint, you have the opportunity to have a lot of tips and tricks, especially if you're into poker. It would make a lot of sense to move forward with this if it's something that you're an enthusiast, you play poker all the time, maybe you're a bit of an expert, so you can share tips and tricks and strategies and that sort of thing. You can refer users or visitors to your site to poker and gaming websites, which I think could be valuable. Of course, you can take the usual angle and refer people to different products related to poker. People set up tables and have weekly games, and they maybe need chips and other accessories and that sort of thing. It could even be sort of a lifestyle. Actually, I had a roommate who played poker for money for a few years, and he would go and play tournaments and stuff. I never played poker with them. I'm not very good. So this site has a bunch of backlinks overall. So just a quick highlight, 195 referring domains, 131 of them are do follow. These are highly relevant. At this time, the site doesn't get any traffic. There's nothing on the site. But when I check out the previous organic traffic all the way up until it looks like the middle of 2020 or so, it was getting some organic traffic. And I think that's probably when the domain sort of went dark and ended up in some sort of a marketplace like ODYS. So anyway, I think there's a couple monetization strategies, and you can definitely use it to build your own site. If you wanted to, you potentially could have a spot where you publish your own content, publish content where you're trying to earn money, but you could also most likely sell some backlinks in some capacity if you're into that sort of thing. I think you could probably monetize it better than that, but the fact is it's really hard to get good poker and gambling related backlinks, so this would be a place to check out. So anyway, thanks to ODYS. Always appreciate their sponsorship, and you can get $100 to your account if you sign up with my affiliate link. So you could head over there and check it out. Even if you're not in the market right now, it's worth it to just keep an eye to see if a domain pops up, something that you're interested. So thanks to ODYS. That's ODYS.global. All right, and cool domain. I think I was listening to myself in that ad read there, and I was thinking, you could sell links on that site. I think probably you could buy that domain and probably charge a whole lot for backlinks for gambling sites and poker sites. Now, like I said, I think you could probably do better if you monetized in other ways with referrals to, gambling sites or whatever, other poker sites. But people want those backlinks bad. They want to rank really bad. So I wouldn't be surprised if you could charge, and I'm just throwing out a number without knowing anything. I bet you could charge, $800,000 per link or something. Now, you probably couldn't do that forever, but you probably could do it for a while, enough to cover the cost of the domain, even though it's pretty expensive. All right. I was talking about digital products. We went over and talked about some of the courses that you can get, right? Or the courses that you can promote. They're out there, even for niches that you don't think of typically. I was talking about cameras, again, unoriginal, just staring at a camera right now. And whether you're doing photography or video, there's tons of courses on both. And if you want to go, a little bit deeper in thinking about the video camera aspect, there are courses related to video editing as well, and video editing in specific ways. Maybe you're a filmmaker, maybe you're a YouTuber, maybe you create courses for corporate clients and you have a different editing style that you would need to use. So there's a lot of different like sub niches within these areas. When you think about the software, you have video editing and you have the photography editing. And that brings me to an example that I want to give you for this very thing. So when I got this camera, the Canon EOS RP, I was generally shooting JPEG, so that's the compressed version, but you can shoot raw files, and those are unprocessed. It's just the pure image. And with a raw file, it's usually a lot more data because it's uncompressed and it's unprocessed. So you actually have to process the raw images, and you can manipulate them and actually end up with even better photos. There's more information. So if there's something wrong with the image, just visually, like right off the bat, you can fix it later. So if it's a little bit dark, you could brighten it up. But if it's compressed, you don't have all the original data. So I was thinking, hey, I'm gonna shoot raw a little bit, depending on what I'm taking pictures of. Generally, the JPEGs are okay, but sometimes, let's say I'm out shooting some pictures of astrophotography. So I'm taking pictures of stars, planets, the sky, whatever, Milky Way, and I don't know if I'm hitting the perfect exposure. So shooting raw would give me the ability to change it later. So I was looking up, how do you process raw images? So I can't remember which post I looked at here, but we'll click through. Actually, let me see if there's any good ones. Deep dive photo, Skylum, which ironically, that's what we're going to end up talking about a little bit more. So while those are pulling up, I did see a question from Peter. Peter said, I found a great program on ShareASale, but all I'm promoting is Amazon. How do I implement the other program with Amazon products? I'm trying with banners, but it's not working well. So, couple things. You need to make sure there's buyer's intent for that specific product. Just in general, you'll probably need to present the affiliate offer in the same way that you would present anything else. And you have to think about it in the same way. So if someone is showing up and they're looking up some review for an item, and then you're showing them a product that is related, but not the item that they were looking for, it might be a harder thing to sell. Basically, you're trying to sell them something that they don't want. So if I went to Best Buy and I'm looking for a new camera lens and they're trying to sell me a microphone, I'm probably not going to buy it. Right? I don't need the microphone. I already have the microphone thing taken care of, and I'm literally there for some other reason. So that might be the situation. You're saying, hey, it's with banners. So yeah, probably not working that well. The main thing is to have the right traffic, the right person that's interested in making that purchase. If you don't have the right person there, they're just not going to be, I mean, you might accidentally make a sale, but it's going to be a lot less likely. Now, that said, if you have just a huge volume of traffic, then you might be able to do it, because if you have a big enough sample size, there will be, the crossover, the person who actually is interested in both of those topics and they have a problem that they're trying to solve. So you didn't mention if it was a physical product or if it was digital product or anything like that, or if it's related to the thing that you're trying to sell or the exact thing that you're trying to sell. So best case scenario, and if I've heard this work really well. And I interviewed Mushfiq not too long ago, and he would contact individual companies just like I described before. He would say, hey, I'm making these sales. I would love a higher commission rate. I would love to work with you directly and not go through Amazon. So let's work something out here. And it was the same products, and he would just put the other products and other affiliate programs in the same article. And instead of sending people to Amazon, he would send them to the other marketplace or the other company, whatever storefront, it doesn't even matter, right? So he would send them to the other place to buy that wasn't Amazon, and that would work. That would be just fine because it's the right audience to make that purchase. Okay. So back to processing raw images. So I was trying to figure out how to do this, and I looked at some websites. So this is actually a dive photo. So again, talking about niching down and thinking about, all right, I'm interested in photography. This is about dive photography. Super niche, super expensive stuff. A lot of the gear and the casing is, it's just pricey. Well, the other thing is like fucking diving is expensive. So like if you're into diving and you're into the photography part, like you're throwing some cash down. This is a great niche to be a part of and promote things. So let's see if they promote a specific kind of software. And this is what happened, right? I was looking to see if there was a way to process the raw images. And you can process with free software, but I ended up on a site that said, hey, here's what you could do. Usually there's software packaged with your camera, but you could also use this other software called Luminar AI. And it's actually put together by this Skylum company. It's a software company. And they give you the guide here. So this is the actual company. So I was hoping I'd find a specific review like, hey, here's how you can process a raw image. And by the way, you can do the free version or you can get Luminar, which I eventually did. I bought Luminar and it does all the things that I needed to do and a little bit more. And it's very easy to use. So the website, the review that I saw, they went through a demo and they were showing, oh, you could replace the background just like this, right? You could replace the background, which seems a little, it's not quite honest, but it's pretty cool. So if you have kind of a boring background, then you could make it a little more spicy, make it more interesting, stuff like that. And that is a great approach, right? You help people do something. They've asked a how-to question, how to process raw images, and then you end up teaching someone how to do something, and then you're telling them, oh, you could do it with this tool a little bit faster and easier. So let me show you as well. So we have this Luminar, and there's an affiliate program right here. So we could just click on that. A lot of times if you find a product that you think is good, especially if it's software like this, just go to the bottom, look at the footer. A lot of times there's going to be an affiliate link down there, and they say, hey, we paid our affiliates $10 million. So they're selling a lot of stuff out there. And just to get an idea, again, on what the payouts might be, let me scroll down here. So it's 20% or more per sale, and then 90-day cookies. And there are special campaigns and discounted apps for your community, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, you get the 20% and it's a 90-day cookie. And they say their most active affiliates earn over 100K per year. So the punchline here is you can earn from Amazon. I would tell you, don't cut Amazon out. So many people buy things from Amazon. It would be silly to just say, I'm not going to deal with them at all. You can make a, decision, an ethical decision, a personal decision, a business decision, whatever you want. But the fact is, people buy a lot of shit on Amazon. So you may as well give people that option. When you go beyond that, when you think about other products that you can sell, you should look really hard to figure out how to sell software and courses. Now, I'm curious, does anyone have questions about, finding them? Or maybe you think, hey, in my niche, none of those are available. Maybe that's the case. I'm not sure. And if you can find a software product, sometimes you end up with a subscription model. So you can earn a commission as long as someone has an active subscription. So one example of that would be like an email marketing company. Like I signed up for Aweber several years ago when I started in 2013. I signed up using Pat Flynn's affiliate link. And slowly over time, my cost went from maybe like $20 a month to about $150, $170 per month. And I stuck with Aweber until about a year ago, something like that. So for 7 years, Pat Flynn was earning a commission from my subscription. So depending on the software, people can be really sticky. And something like that, or I'm trying to think of some other software like that, people are pretty sticky. So it's a real hassle to move to another email service provider, to the point where even if it was cheaper and even if it was better functionality, it would have to be considerably cheaper, and it would have to be just amazing functionality for someone to switch, because the headache of the migration, typically when you're migrating from one email provider to another, there's many things that can break. There's automations, there's band-aids on it. And when you move somewhere, a lot of things break. So even if you're really intentional about it, some things are going to go wrong. At some point, I just pulled the band-aid, and I was at a point where I needed to revamp everything anyway. And I decided to just pull apart my whole tech stack. So overall, think about these software products and think about courses. I'll give a quick example. I know, you might think, there's probably not that many courses for maybe like outdoor and like outdoor survival, prepping, camping, stuff like that. Well, if you go look around, you will actually find there are courses for almost anything, whatever niche you could figure out. There's probably courses related to it. So when I started digging, because I was like, that could be sort of a rough one. It seems like maybe there's not too many, but there are, digital courses for like backpacking and camping, or maybe like solo backpacking and survival in general. Maybe you're out you want to figure out like how to survive after some plane crash or a boat crash, and you're maybe going to be alone for a while. There's courses on all that stuff. Or maybe it's, through hiking. So there's all these little subtopics, and especially if it's an industry like we saw before, or a hobby where it's pretty expensive, like we saw the dive photography. Well, diving is pretty expensive. So typically, unless you live on the water or near the water, you're going to have to travel to a place. You will have either gotten your scuba certification, or you will be getting it there. You have to, pay for the equipment to rent if you don't own it. And if you own it, it can be fairly expensive. So the point is, there's hobbies where it's pretty expensive to do to do the whole thing, right? So if you could find something adjacent to it or connected to it in some way, like the dive photography, that's great. I mean, there's so much expensive equipment, and the person that gets into diving is usually really willing to spend money on their hobby. So digital products, that's an area that people miss out on a lot. And if you start hunting around, if you start looking, ShareASale is a great marketplace to look at. There's a ton of others. So if you just look at some of the big affiliate marketplaces, you will find lots of different opportunities. You will probably be able to find something for your niche. Most of them have really good filtering mechanisms. There's another company. Let me try to find the name of it. It's Impact Radius. I think that is it. Yeah, so Impact Radius is another one that has a lot of different companies you could partner with. And well, not a ton of info here, but you can go sign up. It's typically free to sign up for any of these different programs out there and get more information. So you can hunt around, and then if you just know you're selling a lot of a specific product, you can just Google the name of the company, affiliate program, referral, a couple other. Usually it'll be under affiliate program though. That's a pretty standard name, and then you can just find that, see what they require. Sometimes you may have to submit an application. They want to make sure that you have the right audience, that you're producing, good content that they want to be associated with. And then you can just sign up. Pretty straightforward. And again, I'll say it one more time. The digital products are really, something that if you could figure out how to market those effectively to your audience, you'll be in great shape. The other thing is, depending on the product and your niche, there might not be that much competition at all. So you might be able to, put in like dive photography course review, assuming there's a course on that. I'm pretty sure there is. And then you may be one of the few results out there because there's so few people in that niche. It's a dive niche, which is kind of small, and photography. So it's this small intersection between the two. Now, before we head out of here, let me know if you have any questions. I do need to jet. I'm going to go run some errands, hit Sam's, go to the grocery store. But shout out to Ezoic. Check out Leap, help your website load faster. ODYS, you can find age domains. Excellent branding, strong, powerful backlinks. And finally, Multi-Profit Site, my flagship course, is open for enrollment this week. It closes on Friday. There's a couple bonuses associated with the course. So you can head over, following the link in the show notes here. You can see what those are. I'll tell you though real quick. If you sign up for the advanced or the premium section, you can get access to my productivity course. So it's a $150 value, and I'll enroll you in that. I'll have to manually click the switch for you, but you can check that out as well. And I'm going to leave it at that today. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next week.